All right, guys, today I have an announcement for you. I'm Erin. You know this. And if you're here, you probably also know that 22 days ago, I started what I have called the Transmission series on the Narrative Advantage podcast. And 21 days ago, I decided to get over my fear and flip on the camera and start putting basically raw content up on my very old, extremely stagnant YouTube channel. And I did it as a way to just get over my own belief, which was a block, that because I'm a morning person, because I'm not a fancy person, because I don't like all of the complication, I told myself it was too complicated, that doing a podcast and a video was too much for me. And there was this teeny tiny whisper voice in the back of my head that said, Erin, you are limiting yourself. You are creating that narrative and it is putting you in a box and it is stunting your growth. And here's the other thing I know about myself is that when I commit bravely and boldly to creation, great things happen. That is how I built my first business, was simply a almost illogical commitment to showing up and doing things that I had never done before, that I had no business doing, and figuring it out by being curious and committed and consistent. So I was like, I've done it once, I can do it again. Flip on the camera. And listen, it has changed pretty much everything in the last 3 weeks. So as I said, this is day 22 of the transmission. For 3 entire weeks, I have been with you every single day, thinking out loud about attention, about depth, about what's working, about what's in my head, about what's not working, about observations I'm seeing in marketing, in communication, in entrepreneurship. And you know this, I started this without having any clue where we would end up. And we're not even at the end yet. But my whole commitment, again, was to build in public and to figure it out by doing it. And I got to tell you that this past weekend, I don't know, around day 17, something like that, something started to click. And it wasn't a tactical shift. It was more of this slow lifting of the fog and a realization about what it is I actually want to build here on YouTube and on the podcast, and what problem I'm actually solving and how I can do it with the highest integrity. So here's what I've been seeing across every client. Pretty much every conversation, comments on these videos, direct messages that I continue to get on Instagram. You can find me over there. All of the links, by the way, are in the show notes. And I would invite you to please subscribe to this channel, because I can tell you that in about 10 days, we are going to blow the lid off of this. So this is going to be like a 10-day invitation to what's coming next. And it starts right now with this announcement. What I've heard is that people don't need another productivity system. You absolutely don't need another content calendar or growth hack. What you actually need, what you're looking for, is community and guidance, and dare I say permission, along with a pathway to build something different. I keep hearing this kind of generalized, I'm going to generalize here, but I keep hearing this. I want to build something meaningful, but I can't figure out how to do it without burning out or without compromising everything that matters to me. And I realized that I'm the same way. This is the actual problem. It's not how do I grow faster, but how do I build something sustainable that doesn't consume me? And here's how this leaves us feeling. It leaves us feeling like we're stuck between 2 bad options. Option 1 is stay small and safe and never really do the thing that we want to do. Option 2 is go all in, chase an algorithm, sacrifice your nervous system, and sacrifice all of your attention and your joy in the process. And frankly, both of those options totally suck. So what happened on the weekend is I started thinking, what if there is a third path? What if you could build something financially viable and abundant, something that's growing, something that reaches people, something that means something to you, but do it slowly, intentionally, and without fragmenting yourself and without leaving and disembodying yourself? Don't self-abandon in the process. And so what I started doing was looking at my own journey again through a new lens. This whole transmission series has been me looking at my journey and then reflecting those lessons back to you. But this was the biggest aha for me, is that what I have been building from when I built DIY Passion and sold it, from when I started to coach small business owners to medium-sized business owners to large business owners now, consulting with a comms company, to building Story Studio Network, everything, it's connected to this one concept that I have been living and just not expressing. The best term I can come up with is slow freedom. So after the transmission series is done, we still have 9 more days and there's lots more to unpack, but I am telling you that what's happening on the YouTube channel and a little bit of what's happening on the podcast is going to start to shift. And it's not like going to be this massive pivot. It's just got a name now. Slow freedom. And there are 3 pillars to this slow freedom concept that now I'm going to start to unpack with intentionality. And thank you to past me 21 days ago for jumping into the transmission series, because if I hadn't have made that leap, I never would have gotten to this point of clarity, just so you know. So you have watched this unfold in real time. Slow freedom for me is about building a business and creative practices that support your life without consuming it. It's part methodology. It's part philosophy. And it is also part community. Community with yourself and your body, and community energetically with the people who you want to impact. Community is a 2-pronged thing for me. One concept I would like to start sharing more about, we touched on it in the profit episode that I did, and I went back and I listened to that and I was like, oh, Erin, you were holding back. You were actually holding back what you could be sharing. Because I don't know if you know, how would you know this? How would you know this? I haven't said it out loud. Is that my husband and I, my partner and I, our family have been on a path to what's called Coast Fire as quickly as possible. Coast Fire, F-I-R-E, stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. Coast Fire means you hit a point where you have enough in your investment accounts, your retirement accounts and your investment accounts, such that you never have to make another contribution again, and the money will grow, allowing you to retire very comfortably. So the faster you can get to Coast Fire, the faster you have what I call optionality, meaning you can build a new business, you can slow down and go part-time, you can take 2 years off to travel, you can do all kinds of things because you have achieved Coast Fire. And when I started to research Coast Fire, this would have been about 3 or 4 years ago, I realized there was this massive gap in the conversation for founders and business owners, small business owners who want to achieve Coast Fire. If you go on YouTube right now or you search Google or whatever, you're going to find a lot about Coast Fire, but it's going to be all from people who have salaried jobs and not the ebb and the flow and the distinct nuances that come with running, financially running a business or a small corporation. And so I was able to take fragments of that advice, but I have found over the last 3 years, as we're building Coast Fire, that I have come up with pathways that I haven't seen anywhere else that are really helping us expedite that process. And I say this because part of slow freedom has to be having this money conversation. So that's pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is then the actual structure of the business. I have mentioned this multiple times through the transmission series that I have condensed my client-facing work time to just 3 days a week. That has been massive for me in terms of achieving the freedom that I want. But there is extreme tactical, strategy, operational realities to contend with there, right? So that's the second rung or leg of the stool. We're talking about Coast Fire. How do we use our business and our finances and the inflow of money to enable slow freedom when you don't have a salary, right? The next one is, how do you build a business to enable freedom when you don't have a job and you have to always be looking for clients and running those clients? Your boundaries are different than if you have a salary, you have a job. The third piece is that nervous system somatic piece, that embodied piece. Because when you are going for coast fire, when you want to actually retire, when you want to have optionality as a business owner, the first thing that you have to actually learn how to do is hold on to your money. And holding on to your money is a function of your nervous system capacity. I started to get like exponentially more wealthy when I started working with my nervous system. So this is the Slow Freedom Project that I am realizing needs to be birthed out of this transmission experiment. It is the financial with the operational with the energetic. And you can tell I am lit. I am lit by this, and I'm announcing this, and I'm terrified to announce it to you. But here's a couple things. So just to be clear, when I start this, I'm going to start it with intentionality. We're going to have to change the cadence a little bit because daily's a lot. I won't be going daily. My hope is that I'll be doing 2 podcast episodes a week and probably 3 to 4 shorter YouTubes per week once we start in November. And they'll all be different content. I'm not going to be duplicating if I can help it. So you're not going to hear the same thing on YouTube as you will on the podcast. There will be a flow there. And then my other pillar is obviously going to be LinkedIn, because I love LinkedIn and it fuels everything that I'm doing here. But my commitment is that I'm going to finish the transmission series. They are going to be shorter episodes until the 31st of October. And then my hope is that week of November 3rd, I am able to step forward into the next iteration of this narrative advantage, because your advantage is only as strong as your systems. What story are you telling? The story I am telling right now is the one about slow freedom. It's my slow build to coast fire. So if you've been following this, thank you. Your attention and your feedback has made all of this possible, has really pushed me to keep showing up even on days when I have found it really difficult. And slowly I will start to explain what my plan is for the channel and the podcast going forward. I think you're going to love it. I think you're going to be really locked in. I'm going to start sharing real numbers, real percentages, real ups and downs, true behind the scenes. Very much so like I did with DIY in the early days, where I showed some fails and I showed some flops, and I wrote very honestly about how things were hard or how things didn't work the way that I thought they were going to work. And I think that's really important. So watch for that, because it's going to come. I'm going to share with you, where are we on the doneness of our coast fire? I haven't looked at the numbers precisely, but I think in the next 12 months, we want to find a way to put another 100,000 into the investment accounts. And we can talk about energetically, how do I function as a person who is a person in my personal finances, but then also the sole shareholder in a corporation. There are some really cool tools that I have, but I am one person. And because I am one person, my nervous system has to be in line. So those are the 3 rungs. And I am so excited. This is going to be different. This is going to be substantial. We're going to focus on real transformation. This isn't going to be about quick wins. This is going to be the real-ish of building slow freedom, coast fire, operational excellence, nervous system capacity. Whew, I got that out off my chest. All right, we have 9 more transmissions to go. Let me know what you think about this. Please subscribe, like, follow, drop a comment. You can find all of the details in the show notes or the description box below, and drop me a DM on Instagram, or you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm really curious what you think about this, and I will be back here tomorrow to unpack the final stages of this transmission series.